This is a HeadGum podcast.
Dynamic banter. Mike and Steve are gonna do bits and have some fun. Dynamic banter. Honking horns and ringing bells and making good. Dynamic banter. Don't forget the history road on Dynamic banter.
Hey! Welcome to Dynamic Banter, motherfuckers. I hope you're fucking voting, you little shits. Fucking
My dad listens to this.
All
He
right.
does?
I'm sorry.
I met your dad
I don't.
once.
You know who? I'm not talking about your dad. My mom listens to this. I'm not
My
trying.
mom doesn't listen to anything I do.
I miss your mom.
Welcome back to Why We Are the Way We Are.
That has been such a topic of life. Yeah.
So, welcome to Dynamic Banter, guys. Shit's crazy right now. The world is literally falling apart, it seems. And it's a very difficult time. And I'm struggling with how to create content that's fucking funny right now. And I feel bad anytime I think about doing it. And it's just a really, really difficult time. So I thought it would be great if we had one of our wonderful friends, a person of color, Mr. William Haynes, on the show. And if you're watching the video version,
We'll just be interviewing William's triceps today.
Will, you know what, man? I used to think that you were just skinny ripped.
Yeah.
You know how like you're so skinny you can see the muscles, so it looks like they're strong, but it's really
That's
just
right.
that you can see the muscles.
Yeah, that was my entire childhood. Yeah.
But now you're actually ripped.
Yeah, I've been eating food. That was my biggest issue is I would do so much exercising and then I would go to like Taco Bell once a day and that was all I would eat.
Like you're not
And
Philip
now-
Molina ripped.
See, Philip Molina is like,
I'm terrified.
I mean,
of
I
Philip
could still
now.
beat his ass, like if it came down to it.
No, you could not.
I guarantee you, Steve, crazy beats big every time.
I mean, but look, dude.
Every time.
I mean,
I'm
Is
working on
Philip trained in a discipline? in a
let's get
fighting
Philip
discipline?
on right
Or
now
are
and
we
ask
just
him if
talking
he thinks he could beat up Will.
I hate that he took this from me. I don't know how he got on the show in the first place. I was the original one. And now everybody's like, forget Will, Philip Molina.
Listen, Philip is a great guy, and he's always been kind, and he's a little
Okay,
weird,
host.
but he's great. He's a little weird, but he's a good guy. And now I'm just absolutely terrified of him. I'm afraid he's going to burst through my wall like the Kool-Aid man and rip me to shreds because, you know.
He rented the apartment next to you just so he could kick through your wall.
Yeah. I'm afraid that he has a list we can't see and he's not sharing it anyway. But no, but he's incredibly ripped and he worked his ass off to do it and it's crazy and you should go look and also support him because he's also an artist and trying to do his thing. But but you're not Philip Molina ripped, but you're ripped, dude. You actually working out all the time.
Yeah, I'm also like, I sent you photos like a couple weeks ago looking at my face. I'm like, damn, I'm really a man now.
You are.
I'm
You
like,
finally become a man, Will.
Yeah, I'm like, I'd be looking at myself in the mirror and I'm like, oh yeah, definitely not a little boy anymore. So
you thought
yeah.
that not being a virgin anymore would make you a man, but it turns out it was just time.
Yeah, it took time. It took time. Stuff had to happen to me. It's been a very eventful 6 months for me. I've done so much emotional growing over the past 6 months. It's been ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're I mean,
about it?
the thing is like we got thrown into a fucking pandemic and Will, you've been like you've never stopped working your ass off when SourceFed ended. And you're constantly hustling and working, and then it seemed like the worst was happening just before the pandemic hit.
Yeah, I was wondering when I would actually get to talk about it. I'm sure I'll talk about it more in detail like years from now when it's like inconsequential, but my life like literally like was falling apart days before the pandemic. And I was like, like the way I was shooting things and like my contract deals and stuff. And I was like, man, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to be able to continue to do this. And then the pandemic happened, and I was like, oh, everybody's stuff fell apart. But I was like, I just had like people quit on me. I like lost like 2 or 3 people that were working with me like days before the pandemic. And at the time I was like shattered. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to be able to do any of the things I want to do. But then the world hit, and I've been here in the Bay Area taking care of my family, and that's what's caused that emotional growth. I'm really surrounded by people that I love and that love me, and I got to go to the grocery store. I got to do all of this stuff for them. And this was not the life I was living when I was in LA. I really only thought about myself, and I really only ever did anything. I was always by myself. And so it's been a huge learning past 6 months for me.
And it
really takes some real life shit every once in a while to put stuff in perspective. And everybody, that's part of becoming an adult for everybody. It's like you get thrown into some stuff you weren't prepared for, and that you can't say no to. There's a lot of stuff in the world that's have to do stuff. It may not be want to do stuff all the time, but and then you figure out who you are and you gather strength from that.
It's just that we're in a I'm struggling with like the thoughts about why all of this is happening, and all of my friends that I'm worried about, and my family that I'm worried about, and I'm just worried and scared and sad and angry, and
there's there's all these protests, and these peaceful protests turning violent, and it's so sad. Like, we're already on top of a pandemic, and it is like I'm worried about people like Jessica, my best friend, who really wants to be out there. Like, I can't be out there because I live with a bunch of older folks. Like, I absolutely cannot go be in a crowd of 5,000 people and then come back into this house with that on my conscience, especially my family. I'm worried about my friends out here who are protesting. I'm worried, about what the cops are doing. And we're on top of a pandemic. So yeah, it doesn't let up ever.
And that's the thing. Like Mike was talking about how you have to go through some hard shit in life to get stronger and then be prepared for the next thing. But it's like, this thing is maybe the biggest thing that's happened in our generation.
Obama, on his live address last night, I only caught parts of it, and he said this is the biggest thing that he's seen in his lifetime.
Yeah,
that's Barack Obama. So it's safe to say that this is the craziest thing we've ever seen.
Yeah, like my mom was.
Now remind me who Barack Obama is.
Former president.
My mom was saying, talks about how she remembers when JFK was assassinated, and she turned on the TV and and that's fucking crazy. Your president was assassinated in the US. It's like, what? But it's like, dude, we have a fucking global disease.
Pandemic.
A pandemic. And we've got shit like George Floyd happening, and all the countless other things like George Floyd happening. And it's like, it's just a boiling point for this anger and frustration, and people are in a cage essentially, and it's and finally it feels like the cage is just fucking bursting.
People are protesting so much, like you just said. It's so much with what's going on with George Floyd, and people are even protesting the pandemic. People are protesting everything. So yeah, we've reached the boiling point that the 60s had. What I've been trying to focus on over the past 4 days is I'm like, where is the future going to take us? What is it that we need to do? I feel incredibly powerless right now. I'm not into Twitter activism. You're just speaking into your own bubble. When we get out and we get organized, there are real life things that we can do. So I'm just trying to see in order to get the type of change we want in this world, we need a record number turnout at the ballots in November. That has always been the goal since before the pandemic was happening. now with what's going on, I'm not sure like about mail-in ballots. I've never done anything like that. All I'm thinking about in my creative processes is I'm like, how can I use my influence to make it cool to vote? We need a record number of people to vote this number. Can we use our influence to tell people you gotta vote?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, you're totally right. And I think we should.
We need MTV now more than ever.
Yeah, we really do. Rock the vote. We need Rock the Vote back again.
Yeah, commercials like that, and like having it on your screen all the time. Like,
I think there's an undeniable fire that's currently burning, and it doesn't seem like it's going to stop. And I think that's going to burn right through the elections and really, really make people realize that it's time to get up off of our fucking asses and goddamn do something.
Yeah.
Nothing's gonna subside by November, or when I think the primary vote was already in a couple states. Is that right?
Yeah.
So this is happening like at the same time, and there's so many weird political moves happening, and it's
and like secret
it's
ones that seem like
out.
diversions and like distractions and shit. And it's like, and then Trump's angry at Twitter and like, it's like, this is the worst movie that we're living in right now.
Yeah, it's a reality show.
We're living in a movie and a reality show that I would never watch.
Yeah.
Like, it's
I
not...
understand that it's very easy to get caught up in how everything seems like it's burning down, but there's also, those images of thousands and thousands of people in countries across the world and in every single state in America of people coming together, so it's not all one thing.
We gotta continue to amidst all of this insanity, and I know it's hard to even think about the idea of thinking positively, but it's so important that if you're going to help other people, that you are okay to do that and you are strong enough to do that. And right now, a lot of people are feeling the weight and the pressures of what's going on, and it's making them feel like, there's nothing I can do.
Yeah, as annoyed as I was about like the black square things and like just like empty like just not really doing anything, it actually has become cool to post about woke stuff, activism on social media. Like that has been a big difference because I actually have friends that are Trump supporters, young folk. And so many of my friends for years have been mad at me. They're like, how could you hang out with these Trump people? Like, and I've had conversations with them that genuinely sadden me, and because I knew that they came from a different world, but now they're on the same social media as we are. They follow the exact same artists and people we do. Like, I know for a fact that all of these conversations you missed because you're not from the communities that we're from, but now you have to be taken in this dialogue. So
and it's a visual thing too. The black square thing, and then the people getting angry about it, and then people like virtue signaling all over fucking every social media platform about how you're doing this wrong and you're ruining everything and you're not doing the right fucking thing. It's like, look. We're at a boiling point with the fucking planet we live on. We can't be yelling at each other about how what you're doing is the wrong way to help people. This is insanity. It's fucking crazy.
Also, you got to remember that for a lot of people who don't know exactly what to do and have never had to ask themselves certain questions throughout their lifetime, it's a lot of people's, like, especially white people's first baby steps into like solidarity and trying to figure out what they could do to help show that they support something that they've never even thought about or talked about before.
And
so people are going to make mistakes. I've made a million mistakes throughout my life, but it's about like, trying to figure out where you fit into helping other people.
And also it's like you you're only capable of doing what you're comfortable with doing, right? Like, but you gotta like start to be uncomfortable, and you gotta start taking bigger risks and bigger. You gotta burst your fucking cage or your box open and do uncomfortable shit so that people that are suffering near endlessly can get help and have support.
Ask yourself why you're uncomfortable.
Right. It's just it's so crazy. I just feel like everyone's directing their energies and their angers at like, you know, their tiny communities, and they're all, it's an echo chamber of you're doing this wrong, or why aren't you saying anything, and like if you're not saying anything you're racist, and it's like shit's out of fucking control right now.
And I'm super sensitive about all the media I take in, because I'm into all the millennial stuff, and I'm into all the older people news stuff too, so I'm really looking at everybody's everything. And the thing about like it's become cool to post about your wokeness, but we're seeing which people are posting just the checklist stuff to be like, oh, I swear I'm not racist, I posted this.
Right.
And then the people who are really posting, you know, sharing their personal stories, and what you were kind of saying, what I've seen a lot of people doing, and I think I saw Darren tweeting about it today or yesterday, was like, you know, if you've in the past made mistakes, and you in the past like 2 years, you know, you're like, I changed my mind. We got to make that acceptable too, to be like, you know, we can't just cancel people into the universe, you know.
Right.
Like I said, like I'm friends with Trump supported people, because I do believe that you can change people through discourse, through talking, through growing with them. So many people, believe the way they do because they never had a black friend.
Right.
And, so, I try to make it my duty. Like I was at my friend's house once, and there was this guy there who was like really rich. He was from a really rich half black, half white family, and his dad is black, and I guess his mom is white, and he looks white, but his brother looks black. So I'm at my Trump support family's house, and my friend's sibling said that, I don't believe white privilege exists. And I was like, did you really just say this in front of me? I'm always taken aback when people really have the nerve to say that kind of shit. And before I could even say anything, my homeboy, he was rich. He drives a Tesla, and he's like, he brought up, he was like, but when my brother, who also drives his fancy car, when he drives down the street, police officers pull him over, and they never pull me over, and I'm speeding. And I was like, I really appreciated him for having that conversation, because he really didn't have to. And and how are you going to make change if you don't go into these people's lives and talk to them? If you say, oh, you believe different than me, I'll never speak to you again, you're not going to make any change.
Right. Unless it's something like a close friend who's been antagonizing you throughout the entire Trump administration.
Well, yeah, you and I have had a lot of conversation about those. That we've all learned about the people, and the people we were talking about just before this. There are some people here that aren't young, like many of my friends, and who aren't going to change their ways. And it hurts, because we have had to sever ties with some of them.
I mean, I'm lucky that
And I've said I was sorry a million times.
I'm lucky that my family is fairly they lean left, way more left than than maybe a lot of Hispanic families and stuff. I don't know. I don't really know, but my family, I'm lucky that they all believe in this movement and equality and happiness for everybody. And but I know people whose parents, their own fucking parents, are against things like the Black Lives Matter movement. And
Dude, can I tell you something? Just real quick little story.
Yeah.
In the 60s, I think my dad was in his early teens, maybe 13. And he told me when I was younger, and even recently, about a story where he was walking home from something and he was alone during the race riots, and he got beat up by a bunch of black kids that he had played Little League with. And he didn't tell me that until I was much older, but he never raised me with a racist bone. He never said anything racist. He was like, he was like, I might have been angry at those kids, but it never channeled into like anger about black people or anything like that. And I just like count my lucky stars about that could have gone either way, you know, but because my dad was raised the way he was, and he and his family went through hardships, and so they were able to empathize with people who also went through hardships. And he was like, it's, you know, he never raised us to think a certain way about a group of people, regardless of, you know, his experience. It didn't do that to him.
Right.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because they grew up poor.
Right.
You know?
It's a very
people, yeah.
And there is a kind of like, I mean,
What'd
I
you
don't
say,
know.
Will?
What's that?
I said, yeah, they know, he knows those people. Like you're familiar with people who are different than you. Yeah, yeah.
Right. It's important to like, you know, open your eyes and look beyond your bubble and see other people and understand that everybody has different struggles. But it does come down to kind of like who you're raised by and then the company you keep. And, you know, it's hard to teach the concept that if you hear somebody being racist or if you hear somebody being bigoted against someone else, that you should say something and you should, you know, actually say something. And it's not really taught because there's this concept of masculinity and machismo where you don't challenge your friend for wanting to say what it is that they want to say because that's an uncool bro thing to do, bro, and we trust each other and shit, you know?
Yeah.
It's so toxic.
I'm telling you, man,
it's toxic.
I made my first year out of high school going into college is like your first kind of taste of freedom. It was my first kind of taste of freedom and like not living with my parents and like I don't have to live by any rules. And I, you know, I'm just here to have the college experience and be in a dorm room and whatever. And let me tell you, man, I made different kinds of jokes freshman year than I made after taking Black Studies courses junior and senior year. And you don't know until you know. Yeah. You know, and there's always, there's never a point where you can't learn about another person's experience and about yourself. There's never a point where you could stop improving yourself, you know, but it really takes, it's hard for people to look within themselves and it's scary. And you don't want to think, especially now with being canceled and outed and whatever, it's scary to like admit when you've done wrong, but you have to, because it's unrealistic to say that you haven't done wrong throughout your life. But to be able to say, I did the work to change and to educate myself, that's the human experience. You know, you're not going to go through life and be fucking 15 years old and be perfect up until the point where you die. Yeah. You know, you're not going to die perfect.
Yeah. And those people aren't interesting.
I'd like to die perfect. Like, you know, the carbon monoxide and, you know, just in my sleep. That's how you die perfect.
Yeah.
I've been pumping it into your apartment for months.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you.
Yeah, we got to normalize people changing. But what's so funny about people talking about, like we were saying, Steve, about 2020 being like a movie, and I see that all the time, you know, like people are like, oh, the aliens are up next. Like, that's so funny. But like, you know, how a movie works or a good movie is like, you know, you have your beginning and then your inciting incident and then your middle where your chunk of stuff happens. And then towards here, like it gets really interesting and like, oh. And then there's the ending that, you know, is manufactured to make people like it and want to watch the movie again and again. That's not the movie we're in. No. It just keeps getting bigger.
We're in like the second act forever, pretty much.
Yeah. It's a movie written by someone who doesn't know how to write movies.
Right.
And they're just like, let me know what's going on, more and more like, and then there's a pandemic, but then, and then the race, and so yeah, it's a really bad
It's
movie.
One of those movies where I go to see it, and then I go, man, that was like really fucking intense and really sad and fucked up. I'm never seeing that again.
Yeah, I don't want to watch it again.
It's totally like the Joker. Like it's like I don't ever want to see it again. I don't need to see that.
Well, we don't get to.
But
and I was thinking about this, and I was like, what's going to cause this to end? You know, like there's 2020 isn't going to end, and then all of a sudden all of our issues are gone. Like, really, it's just what. But what would give us a better conclusion is if we all went out and voted.
Right.
That would change
Mm-hmm.
like 50% of what we're going through.
Right.
Not 100%. It's not going to solve the pandemic.
Yeah.
It's not going to end race relations, negative race relations in the country.
That's why when people say they want it to end, it's like, well, it shouldn't end, because this is the only way that these people are finally going to have their justice and their their rights, essentially. And the only way that happens is the way it's happening now, because we've already seen this happening. This isn't the first time, the second time, the third time. 100 years ago was the Tulsa massacre that they talk about in Watchmen. 100 fucking years ago.
That a lot of people learned about for the first time because of Watchmen.
Yeah. And even Damon Lindelof, who read a book about it and then was like, I'm going to write a show where Watchmen is the outside thing, but the inside thing is the struggles of this Tulsa massacre and all of this and the stories of the people that suffered from it. But the point I'm trying to make is that that's 100 years ago, and here we are, we're still dealing with these things. And what has happened between then and now? Well, a lot of things, a lot of really, really good things, but also a lot of really, really bad things. And those really, really bad things are really, really bad, you guys. Like, period. Like, you don't understand until you truly see that people are so angry that they're breaking shit. And everyone's like, you shouldn't be breaking shit. And it's like, do you understand the frustration these people are feeling? It's endless frustration and sadness for their brothers and sisters being murdered in the streets with video cameras in their face. And the people murdering them are like, we don't give a fuck. Film us. This is our moment. We're powerful.
Nothing's gonna happen to me.
It's evil. And
it's
they're
cell phones.
Yeah, it's the police. It's the way that the police is made and manufactured to be like militant and you know,
in all these clips,
reactionary and machismo and fuck, man.
I really had to put down, Twitter and social media over the past couple of days, because like the amount of clips online is just because, Twitter doesn't censor itself like Instagram. Twitter's just showing me the police brutality, people getting, shot in the face with rubber bullets, people who are running away, getting shot in the back. It's a shame that it's taken having cell phones being in this high quality for people to finally being held accountable. And, we don't know what the justice system is going to do. They've just been arrested. The court hasn't passed any deals yet. So we don't know what's going to actually happen. But it's taken this much. It's taken the country's not at work. So we're all have the time to focus on one thing. And it's taken all of this just to get a couple of people arrested. So, I'm just very curious about the future. We have to keep applying the pressure and, make sure that justice is shown,
And it shouldn't end. Like it shouldn't end. Like, people want it to end. And it's like, well, the violence and the destruction should end. It should, because it's, at this point it's like, all right, well, I think all the frustrations of anger of wanting to destroy things are out now. Now everybody's listening. Now it's time to do.
Target will restock the shelves.
Right, exactly. So that should end and will end. But what shouldn't end is this activism, this level of activism, until things have changed and until things are normalized to the point where a black person isn't afraid to go to the police for help.
Holding our country accountable. I was actually texting my friend about it. It reminds me of one of the movies you showed me, Judge Dredd, where the police officers in that movie act as judge and executioner.
Yeah.
And how do the people in that movie act? They are upset with the cops. They fight back with the cops. The director of that movie went to my film school. That's like the only movie we made. But it's funny how relevant it is.
Dude, and it's crazy because there's people using there are these militant I don't know what to call them, white supremacists, racists, these militant racists that are using like the Punisher logo on their militia gear. And
I
it's
didn't know
like,
about that.
what do you think that symbol
Whoa.
is? And there are a
Whoa.
lot of people that are like, you know, co-opting like pop culture things, like, you know, and those people love Marvel movies, where in the Marvel movies the antagonist is always something very similar to white supremacy and conservatism in our real world. And the good guys are fighting them in every single version of those movies, including the Punisher. Yeah, in Judge Dredd, that idea of the judge, jury, and executioner is terrifying, but the future's so bad that they need that, right? But they're still crooked fucking cops. So Judge Dredd is one that's like trying to stop the crooked cops. But it's like in all of these fucking superhero stories, it's literally the same story. It's like good guy versus bad guy. Good guy wants people to live happily and in equality. Bad guy wants their way of life to stay and not change, like the conservatives.
Yeah. And I think also, like, what I've thought about over the past couple of days is I was like, you know, what we don't have, like, what that I think people are sort kind of looking for, and what it would definitely have is if it was a movie, is like, we don't have, like, you've heard people say we don't have a leader. You know, there's no leaders. Like, we don't have a Martin Luther King, a Malcolm X, a Barack Obama.
Right.
But right now, it is the people versus, you know, the oppressors. So, like, you know, we are our own leaders, us on social media, you know, I mean, that you see, you know, they point out the people out there in the streets who are actually out there doing something. Like, it is actually the people who are the leaders. We don't have one paradigm, like a movie would say, like, this is the guy or the girl who knows everything and is going to take us to the promised land. It is us, the people, together, applying the pressure on the country, on the government, on the system, to hold people accountable for murder.
What's that?
It's
Mike?
weird that the system is the one that's out of touch. You know, when you have people setting up what is it, the eight guidelines? Did you guys see that? It's like the 8 police guidelines to make sure that I don't remember exactly what it is, but it's like police guidelines that I think were brought forth by people. Like, you shouldn't do this, 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 and that. And you can still apprehend people and stop people from doing wrong. But these 8 things are things that are abuse of power. And then there's a website that you can go to check and see if the city, check how many of the 8 things your local police enforcement does or doesn't do, or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, when I was a kid,
and it's just weird that,
when I was a kid, like, I was involved in a youth center called the Rise Center, and we did a lot of activism. And in the front of our office, you know, they had, like, you know, condoms, and they also had, like, know your rights books. Like, they were like, if you're going to be in the street, this, like, a little booklet that's, like, tiny, that has, like, if a police pulls you over, they have to have warrant, you know, if they come to your house. Like, we would keep these books, like, you know, 10, 15 years ago in our pockets to know what our rights was in the world. And now that type of knowledge.
How old were you?
I was like,
how old were you when did your parents have the talk with you, or did your mom have the talk with you about, like, how to deal with the police as a Black person?
You know,
specifically?
Really? No. My parents are, like, ridiculously hands off. Like, I think you know, like, I'm like, people always say that I'm really well spoken, or so, like, it was never a talk that I had, but at the Rise Youth Center that I went to, we would have all of these, like, you know, seminars led by youth, talking about the cycle of violence and, you know, police brutality, and people would come in and talk about their opinions. But this is what I had as a 14-year-old, 15-year-old in the city of Richmond, California, because it was necessary. So, like, I know kids on the rest of the world, this is like, you know, they didn't have like a 21-year-old teaching you as a 15-year-old about the cycle of violence, and, you know, bringing in leaders who've dealt with police brutality, like, holding seminars. And at the time, you know, I was like, I'm here because I want to do DJ class. Like, why am I I'm like, we're sitting in here for an hour and a half, 2 hours. But now in the future, I'm realizing that knowledge was so very valuable. I mean, I knew at the time, but now I'm really seeing in live time that other people are just now getting this knowledge, as, you know, as a 30-year-old, you know? So I'm appreciative.
Yeah, dude, you could teach a kid anything. about like don't do drugs and like have safe sex and blah blah blah, but until they have some kind of real life brush with it, it's like it's impossible to know exactly how important it is and why.
Yeah.
I want to take
Welcome back.
I want to take a quick break so that we could do some ads, even though it seems as disgusting as possible to just start doing ads in the middle of such a progressive.
Well, you got to get money to donate it places.
Yes, exactly. So let's do that. But Will, I'd love it if you would just if you wanted to work out a little bit for some eye candy.
I honestly was really hoping I can get a pump in really quick.
Yeah, if you wanted to get a pump in during this. For those of you watching the video version, you can check out Will do some. Here, I'll play some music here for.
Yeah, get the bicep in the shot. What a well-defined bicep. Yep, there it is. Now, Will, is that two different globes in the background?
It is, and I do have a third.
Are they different? Is one Pangea?
One Pangea and one's the Earth I want it to be when it's all over.
Is it mostly blue? Or just one?
It's just blue. It's blue in California and Japan and nothing else.
Will, do you want to work out to this kind of music, or do you want to work out to this kind of music?
Yeah.
Hey guys, we want to talk really quick about Figs. Figs is a great company that provides super stylish and super awesome clothing to nurses and doctors and other medical professionals. When the pandemic happened, the world basically changed overnight, and doctors, nurses, and other medical professionals immediately ran to the crisis. And since then, they've been working extra longer hours, distancing themselves from their loved ones, and risking their lives to save ours. I actually saw this thing that someone posted that I thought was kind of interesting. There was a post of how many people were all gathered together for one of the protests, and someone said in the comments, I'm a nurse and I look at this photo and I get very worried about the second wave of the coronavirus. And that's scary. It's very, very scary, and we could talk more about that in a second because that's crazy. But though that's someone who works in the medical profession, and they're doing incredible things right now and still helping people survive this virus that is still very real and people are still suffering from. In fact, one of my friends who is a little bit younger than me tweeted that one of her friends that was her age just passed away from COVID. So it's like, no one's safe, really, and it's very scary still, so please be safe out there. And these medical professionals, back to the ad a little bit, sacrifice a lot. And not just now, but all year round, and shouldn't someone be looking out for them? So that's what Figs is all about. They're a company that's had the backs of these awesome humans since 2013. They create ridiculously soft, modern scrubs that help healthcare workers look good, feel good, and perform at their best. And it does look good. I have a jacket that I love from Figs. Mike, I think you got something, right?
I did get a jacket.
Mike's got a jacket. Come on, guys. Mike's got a jacket. So here's the deal.
Come on, be like me, get a jacket.
In response to COVID-19, Figs has donated over 30,000 sets of scrubs to hospitals across the country, donated $100,000 to the Frontline Responders Fund to help ship PPE and supplies, and sent hundreds of care packages to those who need it the most. And they've also created their own 3-layer protective face mask and utilized their supply chain to produce millions of N95 masks and PPE. And Figs will continue to do whatever it takes to support healthcare workers during this challenging time. So Figs is great. We've already established that. Mike and I own a piece of their clothing, and it's very comfortable and awesome and stylish. And why don't you guys go?
But it's also a great gift if you have a healthcare professional
Yes.
that you know or love, maybe in your family or group of friends. Turn them onto it or surprise them with a gift. Everybody has a birthday coming up.
Yep. And I think that's awesome. I love the idea. Everyone's got a birthday coming up. Don't forget that. And I love the idea that if you can gift your favorite doctor or medical professional like a gift card from Figs, and they could buy like a nice new medical outfit that's like, perfect and it really comfortable and stylish. And I think that's great because when I see the blue scrubs, I get scared. If I saw a doctor come at me with the blue scrubs, I'd be like, what is he about to touch? And am I going to have to worry about the pain? But if I saw a man...
But what about magenta scrubs?
Same. I've seen it. But if I see someone in a Figs, stylish, kind of cool doctor's outfit, then I'm like, okay, this guy's got money maybe, and he's cares a little bit more about himself, and so maybe he cares a little bit more about me, and I think that's awesome. So guys, why don't you go to wearfigs.com, that's wearfigs.com, and enter code BANTER15 at checkout, because what happens is you get 15% off with that code for a limited time, and I think that's really awesome. So whether you're an awesome medical professional or someone who wants to say thank you to one, Figs has your back. So go to wearfigs.com, wearfigs.com, and enter code BANTER15 at checkout. Thanks, Figs.
Thank you, Figs.
Thanks, Figs.
Figs is killing it. Guys, Crossroads.
Let's just say you're a fighter jet pilot. And you're thinking about flying over a hospital and being loud and disturbing all the patients in the hospital. Right. Don't do that. And instead go to figs.com. Promo code BANTER15.
Okay, guys, let's talk a little bit about, really quickly, Crossrope. Crossrope is a new sponsor of Dynamic Banter, and I was like, what's this place, when I got that email? And I think Mike's going to go get his. Mine's over here too, but I don't want to get up. I've been stuck to this piece of furniture for 70 days. No, Alana, you're fine. She's so sweet. Alana popped out of nowhere and was like, do you want me to grab something for you? But no, you're fine. But everybody's gone now. So cross rope. There's Will. There we go. Where'd you go? To get your jump rope? There we go. Mike's got a cross rope on his screen. If you're on youtube.com/dynamic banter, you can see. Basically, these days, we're all looking for ways to stay fit while we're spending more time at home, right? Cardio machines aren't exactly motivating, and the cost of home gym equipment, it adds up real fast. So we found a cool different way to get a great workout for a fraction of the cost, and there you go. Holy shit.
This is the least responsible thing I've done all day.
It's called Crossrope, you guys. It's a sleek, weighted jump rope system that makes working out fun at home. Wow, that sounds so destructive, Mike. I don't think you should be doing that in there.
This is the room with all my most expensive shit in it.
Guys, I opened up this package and I was like, this is like the Apple products of... whoa, I just saw a person go into that door over there. Oh, he muted his he muted himself. It was his mom. Okay. Sorry. Well, sorry, Mom. But anyway, this thing is like the app. It's like basically like a super fancy jump rope. It's weighted.
They're weighted. They're different weights, and they, different workout. And there's one that's just kind of easy to do, as you would remember a jump rope from your grade school days. And then there's you add some weight to it once you get good at that, and you feel the burn a little
right.
bit.
And there's different weight classes for the jump ropes, and the handles are like super cool future jump rope handles. Like if you had gone back to the 80s when I was in school, or like the 90s, the early 90s, and because we had the worst jump ropes ever. There you go. There's one right there. Mike's showing it off there. And then show the little connector too. It's like all futuristic and cool. Like the part where it connects to the rope. Yeah. Isn't that cool? It's like yeah, and you can switch out
on the leg.
Yeah, and if you like that handle a lot, you can switch out that rope with like a different weight rope or whatever. But if you had brought one of these to me from the future and said, I'm from the future, and then showed me this, I would be convinced. I'd be like, oh, that's a future. Oh, Will, I got one for you. I'll give you one of mine. So here, catch. But anyway, so it's really cool, and jumping rope is like, it's fun. Like, I don't know, it is.
It is fun, and it doesn't take long to like feel it.
Right. And then
You could do it for 30 seconds and be like, okay.
right.
I'm
And the
done for the
weighted
day.
ones make it even a better workout, essentially. And
And a cooler sound.
you could like learn to do some tricks and stuff, like do those little hopscotchy little jumps and like, you know, have some fun with it. Play some freaking kick-ass favorite playlist music in your headset. And
Dave
get that jump
Matthews
rope.
Band.
Yeah. Get that satellite going and have some fun.
I still have your weighted blanket. Can't wait to get your weighted jump rope.
You could actually just twist it into a rope and use that.
Will's just taking all my weighted stuff.
I love weighted stuff. It's so
Dude,
animal.
it's great stuff. But anyway, so Crossrope was reinventing the home workout experience, guys, with weighted ropes, give better feedback, which makes it easier for beginners to get started and learn. And the durable steel ropes, ergonomic handles, and patented fast clip system swaps the rope weights fast. So, like I said, it's super cool, very versatile, and a lot of cool features and stuff. So you just order your ropes, you download an app, and then you enjoy the results. You choose between their Get Lean or Get Strong sets, depending on your fitness goals, or get the best value for both sets with the Get Fit bundle. Track your workouts and see a map of your progress for free on the Crossrope app. And they're so sure you're going to love this whole dang thing that they're going to offer a 60-day risk-free guarantee. So if you're ready for a new cardio and full-body home workout, visit crossrope.com/banter. I got to get my butt off the couch and start doing some dang jump ropes. I'm going to do VR with the jump rope and see if that's a fun experience.
See how fast you get tangled in everything you own.
Oh my God.
So guys, get up to $40 off Crossrope sets plus free shipping when you check out today at crossrope.com/banter. That's CROSSROPE.com/banter. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Crossrope.
You're going to like the way you jump.
I guarantee we guarantee it for 60 days.
It's honestly very fun, man. I haven't jumped rope since like 6th grade.
I know.
There's just been no, and it's really like to see. I can't do it very well, but you get a little bit better every day. And when you start, I fuck up when I go for like longer.
Right.
I'm like, oh, I'm doing it, and then
Well, you get into a groove and you're like, fuck yeah, I'm doing it. And then your brain goes, nope. And then you go, fuck.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
All
It's
right.
good. It's worth it.
Burps. All right, last sponsor, guys, and then we can get back to talking about this important stuff and then get angry again. So, guys,
It doesn't
features.
always.
What's that?
I wasn't gonna say anything.
Oh, okay. Features is a new sponsor as well, guys. Let's give a shout out to these new sponsors really quick.
Yeah.
How cool is that, huh? We're keeping the lights on, and this is a very important piece of content that Mike and I make for ourselves, for our livelihood, and hopefully for your entertainment and enjoyment. So thank you to our new sponsors. And guys, features. Mike just showed off his features. They're basically these like super cool, very comfy, nice socks. And
It's unreal, man. They're really like, it's good stuff.
it's very good stuff. And you don't think about how like socks could be kind of a thing to care about, because before I used to just like go to Target or something and get like the most nondescript bag of black socks for like $10 or whatever.
I'll take 1,000, please.
Let me have 1,000 black socks, and they're just whatever. But man, you really don't know what a good sock is until you put your dang bare foot into it. And for sure, that's what's up with features.
Yeah. I mean, they're made out of something almost like a silky thing where they slip right into shoes and it's not uncomfortable, and they don't have a seam on the toes.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have this weird like yarn bunched up.
Right. And also
Whatever.
the worst
They're
thing
very
in the
comfortable, very
world
nice.
is when you find a little tear in your sock, or you like, or you gotta, or they keep slipping in your shoes or something. But here's the deal, guys. Features has solely focused on engineering innovative, high-performance socks for almost 20 years. So these people have made their business socks. They've put engineering and high-performance innovation into socks. That's what these people have decided to do with their lives, and we will not judge them because these socks are great. So they've created a sock with a custom like fit to prevent the issues with conventional socks, like no more bunching, no more slipping, no more friction, and no more blisters. How about that, guys? And there's multiple cushion levels, from ultra light to max cushioning for unsurpassed performance.
Max Cushioning was the sequel to Judge Dredd.
So, Mike, you're wearing some of those socks. How do they feel, man? Talk about it for a second.
They're just very nice.
5,
They gave me
4,
some longer
3,
ones,
2,
and they gave me some
1.
shorter ones. They have a
That's
pad
nice,
around the
Mike,
ankle.
and I also got them too. Features are engineered to help you achieve your best every day, whether you're working out or on the go. And targeted compression acts like a hug around the arch of your foot, keeping the sock in place and preventing it from bunching, slipping, or sliding down into your shoe, which is truly the worst thing ever. I don't like it when the sock slides under your heel. I'm out. I'm like, I need to go home. I can't be at Disneyland anymore. My sock keeps going under my damn ankle, and if I take my socks off, these shoes are going to be uncomfs. Also features has a lifetime guarantee, and they're so durable and long-lasting that if you're unsatisfied at any point, they'll give you a replacement pair, no questions asked. And they're family-owned, you guys. Hugh Gaither founded the company in 2002, and now he and his sons John and Joe own and operate the company in North Carolina. So you're supporting kind of, a family-owned business. That's nice. And their mission is to create products that help you achieve your personal best. So why don't you see why Features has quickly become the #1 running sock in America? Wickedly talented. For listeners of Dynamic Banter, you can receive $10 off your first pair of Features by going to features.com and enter the code BANTER. That's $10 off your first pair when you go to feetures.com and enter the promo code BANTER at checkout. Again, that's features.com, promo code BANTER, $10 off your first pair of Features. Thanks, Features!
Today.
All right. Thank you to our sponsors, and 1,000,000% I'm going to be donating to charities with that because I feel gross about it. Even though it's a job, And this is a goddamn job. The sponsors help us keep the lights on.
I like when Steve starts to fight with himself.
With himself.
No, I don't want coffee. I don't drink it. Let me taste it. All right, can I have the rest?
I love it. I love it. Get it out of my mouth.
Anyway, so Will, how are things in your home? Like, how's your mom doing, and how's your uncle doing?
Oh man, my mom is doing great. She she's a teacher, so she's not at the schools because all the schools are shut down. So she retired, so she was a sub. So now that this is going on, she actually has to stay at home and be calm. And my mom is not the type to sit at home and watch TV, but now she really has to. So she's been really relaxed and she's taking it really well. I actually just did a video with her that's about to come out on my channel.
Oh, awesome.
I don't know if I've sent you. I might have sent you a tiny clip, but it's about how my mom is in love with a YouTuber.
Oh, you told me all about this.
Yeah. I was telling all my friends about it as a joke.
But you filmed it already?
Yeah, I filmed it already.
And is it done?
And edited it. Yeah.
Dude, send it to me.
Oh, I'll send it to you. Yeah. You've
been telling me about this
Logan
for
Paul?
weeks. It's Sean Klitzner.
Dude, you have no idea that there are slot machine YouTubers who all they do is
this blew my
go
mind
to
to
slot
learn
machines.
this.
And there's this guy, Brian Christopher, he posts 1.5-hour long live streams of him at the slot machines. And my mom loves it because she's been at home and she has a Roku and it's like, what's on YouTube? And but she looks at it on my YouTube channel. She looks at it on my People Be Like account. So all of my recommended is Naruto, anime, Dragon Ball Z, MSNBC, CNN, Brian Christopher Sly. So I just kept seeing it every day that I was like in her watching it all the time. So I was like, I have to do this video about it. And I've actually, you've probably known Steve because I've been texting you about it, but like I've recently found this new like love for like making videos again all of a sudden. Like, you know, I really haven't made
it's
YouTube
nice
videos
when the pressure's off, right?
Yeah. You know, I wanted to be a late night talk show host for the bulk of my career, and now all of them are straight up making YouTube videos. Like, you know, my uncles watch all of them, so I get to casually see, like, you know, like Trevor Noah is like in a hoodie in his house. Stephen Colbert is just like in a room in his house.
SNL's been doing it all in their
Do they ever
houses.
turn around? Do they ever turn around and be like, "Will, haven't you been doing this for 7 years?"
I'm like, I have done every type of late night talk show that you could try. I've done it with money. I've done it without money. I've done it on sets. I've done it in my living room.
That was the best, man.
Yeah, that was really funny. The doing it in my living room really ruined my life in many ways, but it was yeah, I really didn't need to do that. And everybody told me, they're like, "Will, you cannot do a late night talk show out of your living room." And I was like, "Bull, watch me." And
and it ended up
That's
getting
a lesson
you
you
evicted.
learned by going through it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I actually do want to make a video about that because you might remember I had Mindy Kaling's brother on an episode.
Yeah.
Long story short was this during that time in 2018 was when I would watch CNN. I would only watch Frasier and CNN. I would not watch anything else. I wasn't even watching anime really. And
what were you getting from that, Will?
I don't know. It used to get me so revved up.
How would CNN make you feel?
If Chris Cuomo on CNN is like so his fire, like it would just like fill me up. Like I was like, yeah,
cool,
yeah.
That's
I
awesome.
don't watch.
He's like the news version of Rocky.
yeah. He's got me hyped.
Or the guy that trained Rocky.
yeah, the guy that trained him. Like, yeah. But what were we talking about?
You're making your show in. Oh no.
Oh yeah. I was gonna do an episode about Mindy Kaling's brother. Yeah. He told me not to say the N-word. And you can see it in the clip. He just like. So what you can't see, and I'll talk about it in my video, is like you may know Mike Falzone, like when my late night talk show, like behind the camera, I had like I'm the least intimidating black guy that was on my set. Like I had like probably like 5 other black dudes in the room with this that are all way more intimidating than me. And you know, my Filipino dudes and Mexicans. And he had the audacity to sit on my set and say to me, he was like, "Yeah, you guys shouldn't use the N-word." And
wait. He was trying to tell you that you shouldn't say it? Like ever?
This was not a part of why we had him on. And,
what was his reasoning?
I think he just came in with preconceived. He was like, you know what? Well, the reason I had him on was because I saw him on CNN from years before where he faked getting into college by saying that he was black with affirmative action. And it actually worked. But
does he look black?
He's Indian. He's really dark skinned, like Mindy Kaling. And I saw this clip on the news, and I looked at it. I laughed at it. I was like, this guy is hilarious. He totally ran a scam. And then I went to Anime Expo this year, and I was like, there he is. And I had just watched the clip, and I introduced myself to him, and he was like, got recognized. So yeah, then that was at the time that I was doing a late night talk show out of my living room, so I invited him on. And
wait, he was just there attending, or he was just a guest? Or
this guy's getting into everywhere.
I had to ask him once he actually came to my show. I was like, yeah, dude, why the hell were you at Anime Expo? And he was like, yeah, I was there with a friend.
All right.
Yeah, I gotta do an episode about that because it was crazy.
Dude,
because,
you have so many potential there are so many things that have happened to you that would make excellent William Haynes deep dive videos.
Yeah, and like I always intended for these things to be stand-up comedy bits. Like I live to eventually make a stand-up comedy album, but now I know
you will if you want to, man.
Yeah,
you can. I mean, it's gonna take some time, but you can.
Yeah, we like for the next like year, I feel like you're not going to be able to do a music show, a stand-up show, like, right? Like,
We're
It's
gonna
gonna be a
force it,
while. It's gonna be a while, and the people that don't
dude.
care
I'm
are gonna
telling you,
make
man,
it happen. But then another wave will happen. So
yeah,
for sure. And I can't wait to be on a stage where people are laughing and coughing their germs at me, and I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take all of it.
yeah,
yeah.
But Will,
Oh.
if you ever want to talk about that shit, I'll talk to you about that shit all day if you
Yeah,
want.
because I was the week before the pandemic, I was at an open mic with my friend Christine in LA. You know, we were watching the news about the pandemic, and that's when Trump was saying like, "Oh, it's a Democratic hoax." So everybody's like, "All right, whatever." And yeah, I was like, really like, I was like, I'm finally old enough. I feel like I have a lot to say, and then here we're hit with this pandemic. So I was like, you know what? I'll just make a couple YouTube videos about it. But
Yeah. Dude, I heard that the pandemic is a Democratic hoax designed to give nurses rounds of applause.
I mean, man really said this. He really said this. Yeah. I mean,
stacking breaks over here.
he really said this. Yeah, and having met Trump, you know, before in life, it's like it's insane.
What was
Dude,
the energy like? In
I
the
forget
room when
that
you-
happened
I
all
know.
the time.
I know. You really had to post that clip again for us all to remember.
And it got
That's
more
so funny.
attention the second time I did it too. But two people that I've had the pleasure of interviewing and is Trump and ASAP Rocky, and I never have gotten the footage to put it out. So when ASAP Rocky was in prison and Trump was tweeting about it, I was like, it was just like
That's
it was
weird.
weird.
That's weird as fuck.
The crossover we've all been waiting for.
That's two.
Yeah,
You've met both of those people.
Yeah. I've met both of these people. I got to talk to ASAP Rocky. He like really was like really nice and treated me like a person more than any celebrity I've ever met. I had my ugly green shoes on. He complimented them. So like, yeah, when that was going on, I was like, and since we were sitting here, I saw that Mayor Eric Garcetti tweeted, "I have lifted the curfew in the city of Los Angeles. We remain strongly committed to protecting the right of Angelenos to make their voices heard and ensuring the safety of our community."
I mean, that's great,
Wow.
but why didn't you do that earlier? Why didn't you do that yesterday?
I honestly think, and I'm not trying to make excuses for anyone, but I try to put myself in other people's positions all the time, even though I have no idea what a mayor does. Will, you know way more about what a mayor does than I do, but I don't know. I don't think anyone knew the right answers for a long time, and I think like we've been saying since the beginning, it's like people are listening to each other in a bunch of different ways than they haven't before.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like with the pandemic, you don't really know what to do, and you unroll stuff and then you roll it back, and it's like this. They describe it like a faucet. You know, you turn it all the way on and shit can get fucked up, and then you dial it back or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's just happening with everything right now. You know,
That's true. I mean, but I think the way that the mayor has been handling other things has made it kind of difficult to.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of flack on here. He did beat me in the election, but you know, I think that Eric Garcetti was doing well at first. He was one of the first politicians I saw wearing a mask. You know, posting photos on social media. He put his default photo on Twitter as him wearing a mask. I really appreciated that. But yeah, he's going to get a really bad rep for all of these curfews and things. And you know, the huge flop when they were like, oh, curfew's at 6:00 tonight. And
yeah,
it's at 6:30. Like, and so, yeah, like and like you said, a lot of people don't really know what the mayor does, but this happens to be something that's, you know, under the mayor's control. So, you know, you go to a lot of meetings, and when you're in the meetings, you head the meetings. And, but yeah, and it's all because of how our state government works is like, you know, Gavin Newsom, our governor, instead of, you know, bringing in, you know, our huge reserves, he has allowed mayors to make the decisions based on their local government on what they want it to do in their cities. So yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot.
I mean, didn't Garcetti approve that like budget to the police or something? Like, didn't he like approve some
Oh,
crazy
Originally,
thing where
I
the
think.
police got like millions of dollars or something?
yeah,
And that
yeah,
happened
yeah,
like
yeah,
2 days ago or
Supposed to
something.
be.
yeah. And we
I think
definitely
it was. No. Go ahead.
Oh,
yeah,
it's
we definitely want
billions. Yeah.
on the police. Yeah, we don't want to give them any more money. So yeah,
No.
but like politicians want to get reelected, but Eric Garcetti actually will hold the record for the longest tenure as mayor of LA because this election, the one that I lost, is for 5.5 years, and I believe he had already served 2 terms before that. So yeah, he just dealt with a lot.
Yeah, it's just it's difficult to. I mean, Los Angeles is. I know a lot of people who listen to this show don't really care too much about what's going on in LA, other than like, you
Yeah.
know, this or that. But as far as the politics here goes, there's a very massive homeless problem, and
Oof.
it's out of control, and it's really sad, and it's really affecting every neighborhood in Los Angeles pretty much. And it's hard to see the mayor being
Well-
like, here's $3 billion for the police, but literally does nothing about the homeless problem.
And
What about in the Bay Area?
exactly, like I've had being back in the Bay Area has it sucks because I really wanted to be in LA and doing my thing, but driving back from the Bay to LA for like the past 9 months to a year, I've really gotten to get a better conscious of what's going on in the entire state, and the homeless problem is statewide, all the way up to Sacramento,
For sure.
in Oakland to Bay Area. It's California has a thing, and I think about it all the time. I'm like, what is it that we can do? Because there are people who are like the people in Oakland who've been recently replaced out of their homes through gentrification, who are recently kicked out of their homes, who within the past 5 years, who there's something that they can do. And then there are people who in LA, from when I used to stay with you, there are people out there who are mentally capably fine, but they prefer to just be homeless, or they're right on the board. What do you do with the people who are comfortable being there? So it's
Right.
it's such a complex issue, and homelessness is different in the valley than it is in downtown Los
For
Angeles.
sure. For sure.
So yeah, that is one of the biggest things. And when I was doing my little campaign, I was really trying to figure out what is our policy on this. I was like, what can we actively do to combat homelessness? And what I learned is that it's so much more complex.
It totally
than,
is.
Then there is no flip of a switch.
There's
and like
a-
I said, statewide.
Yeah, there's I think I don't know if we've talked about it on this show before, but we were talking about how in New York, somewhere I was talking about how in New York, the way that they handle the homeless issues there is they have entire floors of hotel buildings dedicated to housing for homeless people that are able to maintain that kind of a life, other, not the severely sick ones and mentally unwell ones, but but ones that can maintain a job or are looking for jobs can stay for free in hotels, and it's kind of a secret so that it doesn't deter people from staying in the hotels still, which is kind of sad. And they have their own entrances that they are very strictly meant to stay at. But that's a great way to get a lot of these homeless people off the streets. And other ways are housing, low income housing that are just, or foreclosed houses, or just empty fucking apartment buildings, which exist in places like Detroit and places all over the world. But those places can be easily fixed up, or just literally set up for homeless people to live in. And they've done that in parts of the world where homelessness is a problem. And I think that's awesome. But the properties in California are part of a booming industry where people make lots of fucking money off of it. And it seems to me like the people with their hands in their, with tons of money, don't want to give those homes to homeless people.
Last time I went to San Francisco, the Uber drivers and the Lyft drivers, they talk about, Amazon comes in and does this and changes the city like this, and Google changes the city like this. And I'm like, dude, these are companies that make create billions and billions of dollars. Why isn't that like, if your company makes a certain amount, why can't you give a chunk of that to building like something like a high rise or specific housing just for homeless people?
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Bezos,
Like give back to the city that you're now a part, that
Totally.
you're stationed in,
And that you
make
benefit
it better.
from, that you fully benefit from. Yeah.
I need to meet
Mhm.
Jeff Bezos. I'm personally affected because like the local mall that I went to go here, I'm like a 90s romanticizer. So, I miss the mall, people going to the mall.
Hell yeah.
The local mall that I grew up here, it used to have a water fountain in it, and it was so beautiful. And like we used to all crowd around it. And I go in there now and it's dead empty. Especially now during the pandemic, I'm sure you can't even go in there. But what's so hilarious to me about it is that the mall is so empty and there's so little business that they've rented their parking lot to Amazon. So the parking lot is filled with Amazon vans. So I'm like, this is just such a slap in the face. Like,
yeah, because
I hear Brookstone has gone completely under since the pandemic.
Oh no! Where am I gonna get my
Almost
personalized
nobody
lighters?
is buying massage chairs.
Oh yeah, no, that's Brookstone. You're right. I was thinking of like the ones where they engrave things.
We don't do that anymore. Why would you leave your house when you can just order it with a click of a button?
I mean,
but Jeff Bezos is on his way to being a trillionaire. He can end a lot of these problems.
Yep.
Easily.
Yep.
Easily.
And we used to be like, what's his name? Elon Musk. We used to be like, Elon Musk will help, but he lost his goddamn mind, and he's deep in the pockets of bad people on the wrong side of history.
I try not to look too much to Elon Musk, because at first I was like, wow, this is really innovative stuff. But then I'm like, wait a second. So yeah, I don't know what to believe with that.
Yeah.
Dude, I hate how all this racism stuff is going on and all the pandemic stuff's going on, and those cowards went to space and they were like, I'm not dealing with any of this.
Where are their Instagram? Where's their black squares?
Yeah.
Why haven't they posted anything about it?
My sense of humor on that is like, like as like everybody who's like a part of like the artistic world, like that wants to come out with movies or songs. With the pandemic, we're all like, dang, I can't do my thing because of the pandemic. But imagine, like, you knew they planned this spaceship, like they're like, I'm going to space, I'm about to be the first person in space, and then the world is like, sorry, we cannot pay attention to that, because it's like, damn,
I know,
really was my moment.
Dude, Malcolm tweeted the other day like, oh yeah, we went to space today.
But no, like, like Steve, I always talk to you about this. Like, I genuinely want aliens to be known as being real in our lifetime. And you see all this stuff going on right now. They're like showing UFOs, but people are so distracted.
I know, it doesn't even matter.
It doesn't even matter. And like the Pentagon is like, yeah, we have no idea what that is.
Yeah.
And everybody's too bad. Trump is ordering fast food to the White House. We got to clown him. So yeah, I don't want aliens. I really love the society we have now. I'm sure they're out there monitoring us right now, like on Star Trek, waiting for us to get capable of warp drive, and then they'll reveal themselves to us. But I like this world.
Dude, what if aliens came down and they were just hot as fuck in ways that we didn't even know something could be hot?
I mean, I'd have to think about my love with my current girl.
Yeah, until you see these aliens, dude.
Well, that's
Bye-bye.
what I'm saying. I'll have to think about my relationship now, because if these things are hotter than anything I've ever seen,
I mean, maybe they might like comedians.
I only live once, you know. It's your mom. Oh, hello.
Hi.
That's Mike Falzone.
Oh, okay. Do I know him from a TV commercial?
Yeah, the Geico caveman.
You guys ready for him back in LA, right?
Oh yes, please.
Yeah.
We miss him.
Get him out. Get him out of the
Hayate.
All right, mommy, go sit down, mommy. Go, don't leave the house. Okay.
She just kicked you out, Will.
Goodbye. Great to see you. That was a nice little cameo.
All the time.
She's done with you being in the house, dude.
Yeah. I can't wait to get out of here.
So I forgot what we were talking about, but it doesn't matter because it's time to call it quits and say goodbye. But Will, I want to give you an opportunity to let people know how they can help with all of the Black Lives Matters movements right now, or just in your if there's anything you want to say at all, you can just.
In my opinion, what I take from this time right now, if you want to be helpful and you don't have any money or you don't have any influence, just listen. You don't have to post nothing. All you got to do is listen and hear into the voices. I think people get like so piled on of talking into their bubbles by like, seeing all the tweets, and everybody's tweets are getting so much favorites because we're all talking to the choir. If you're like a person that's just taking in all this information for the first time, don't rush yourself to go out there and say something that you might regret. Just listen. And and donate to the Black Lives Matter campaign and George Floyd.
Absolutely. Thank you,
And
Will.
where can people find the stuff that you're putting out now?
I'm gonna we really cannot do People Be Like for multiple reasons, and that's what I've been I made a bunch of videos for William Haynes TV that are gonna come out within the next couple of weeks because I have to do something. And subscribe to William Haynes TV. Follow me on Instagram at William Haynes. I'm still going to come out with a lot of stuff. I still feel this need to entertain and storytell and create. I remember when Trump got elected, I said the art that's going to come out of this time is going to be great. And I'm going to make a video about how I met Donald Trump, actually talking about it for the first time and telling a couple of stories that people don't really know behind that. And I'll talk about that on my channel since I can't do stand-up about it.
Mm-hmm.
But
can I get your opinions on something? It's like I'm very split between, I think there are certain times where I'll just talk for me. Like I feel like you go quiet and you let other messages, you don't cloud the space with other messages. And then the entertainment part of me and the part of me that wanted to become an entertainer to make people feel better than I felt at a certain point in my life is like everyone's brain needs a break sometimes, because I think a rested brain makes better decisions. And I know the decisions that come out of being depressed and stressed and I was going to say pressed, but I really didn't want to rhyme three things in a row like that. But here we are. But I know that I want to make it's a delicate balance, and I feel like we all got to walk on this balance, but I definitely want to make stuff that can give people that like, okay, there was 5 minutes. I thought about something else, or I was able to laugh for the first time and I don't know how long, and then get back to, figuring out how you could help and where you could help. Yeah. That's how I've been feeling about stuff.
Hire Black people. If you don't have any Black friends, find one.
And follow and support Black people by following more Black people. Look at your fucking follows. Look at your Twitter and your Instagram and your Facebook, and look in your friends list. Is there like barely any fucking Black people color in there? Follow more fucking people of color.
I'm just so tempted to make a video about being a professional Black friend.
Dude, Will, you have been the token Black friend to a lot of people in our friend group.
A lot of people,
and that's not okay.
Paid me money, I would literally started writing the video, and I was like, my job is like I'm a host, I'm a comedian, I'm a musician, but what I actually get paid to, what people pay me to do is be a Black friend. So I have a perspective on it, but I feel like I'm always seem to get in trouble. Every single person I've ever worked with, except for like Casey Neistat, has had to be like, Will. So
easy, Will. You absolutely should, though, dude. That's a perspective that you have that not many people have, and that's a very interesting, very like potentially educational and comedically rich point of view to have, and you should absolutely do something with that.
I appreciate it. Okay, I'll do it. Thank you, Mike.
Everybody,
and I'm sick of being everyone's Italian friend.
I'm sick of being everyone's definitely hardcore Mexican friend. So listen, the last thing I want to say, and everyone can have a moment to say a last thing if you want. First of all, Will, thank you for being on the show. I love you. I'm sorry about what's happening right now. I'm here for you and your family, and if you need anything from me ever, please. And I've said this off the show, so I'm not just saying this on the show.
Very true. It's very true.
I'm here
Slept
for
on
you,
the
buddy.
couch we're sitting on many times.
Yes,
so.
and it's open to you whenever you need it, my friend, as always. Just like my mom taught me to do. My mom let in all of my friends of all colors and shapes and sizes, and I learned from her how to be a good person and treat people the way that you would like to be treated. But anyway, let's all try to practice empathy during this time. It's very important to look up the definition of empathy and make sure that it's something that you understand and you are active in utilizing in your life, because right now that's the most important thing. The next thing is to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. You're eating enough, you're drinking enough water, you're exercising, you're moving. It's a very stagnant, sad, and difficult time, but you have to take care of yourself, because if you don't, then you're not going to be strong enough to fight when we need to fight, which is now. And the fight is not going to end. Someone online was saying, when is it going to end? And another person replied, when it ends, which means don't plan for an end to this thing, because there may never be one. But you need to be strong enough to help people in need and to be empathetic and to love everybody equally. And just please, please, please consider those things. If you listen to this show and you enjoy the things that we create for you, that Mike and Will create for you, then please, please listen to us, and please practice empathy and love, and really think about the people in this world that are struggling. And one final thing, you can go to blacklivesmatters.carrd.co, which I'll share in the description of the podcast, and we'll put it on the YouTube video. But it's the easiest way to see where you can help. It's a collection of many things: petitions, text motivations, donations, resources for if you're planning on protesting, what to wear, what to be prepared for, if there are rubber bullets, if there's tear gas, how to get tear gas out of your eyes with water and mixtures, and very important things, what to wear. It's very important if you're going to be out there in the front lines and fighting with your fellow Earthlings. But please go to that site in the description to donate, to help, to sign petitions. Now's the time. It's easy as fuck to sign a petition. It's easy as fuck to text a number in support. It's easy as fuck to make a call, even though calls are weird and strange and you don't want to talk to someone that you can't see or don't know. And it's easy as fuck to donate even if you can't help, because there's ways to donate by just signing petitions and shit. And there's donating by sharing links, which is an interesting thing. There's many options to donate without money. In fact, I'm looking at one right now. You literally watch a video that I'm playing right now, and it's how to financially help Black Lives Matter with no money. It's and the ad revenue to this video, if you watch it, goes directly to donating to organizations that in like Atlanta Action Network, Columbus Freedom Fund, all these great resources. So there's no excuse. There's free shit, there's petitions, there's things to donate, there's money, whatever you have. If you have strength, if you're living and breathing, and if you're listening to this, we need you more than fucking ever. This has to stop. This needs to change, and it starts with us. So please take care of yourself, and please donate, and please love and have empathy, for fuck's sake. Mike, anything else? Will?
I wanted to say real quick that for sure, Will, and you know the door's always open for you to come on whenever you want. I miss seeing you every day, selfishly, and I can't wait until you're back. It seems like your mom wants you out of the house, so I can't wait to see that. You know?
No, they love me. They know I
quick that. You know how you could save your stories sometimes, and you put them up in the little bubbles of your whatever. I did a couple pages of just Black comedians that are friends of mine that you could follow, that people that you may not have necessarily heard of before, but that are fucking awesome and good friends. So go do that. And that's pretty much it.
That's awesome.
For me. Oh, also, like, not all of, if you want to get out physically, there are many, many peaceful protests as well. Not every protest ends in tear gas and flashbangs. And I went to one yesterday that was relatively small, but like it's weird to have the National Guard at your back, and like people are making jokes with the National Guard and stuff. And it's so weird to be screaming about the police with somebody with a with an M16 right behind you. But it's important, especially like we were saying at the beginning of the show, if you're not super comfortable and have never asked yourself certain questions and have never put yourself in other people's positions before, you may never fully understand, but it does give you a little taste of, just what people have in the back of their minds at all times. And it's important to make your voice heard somehow, because there's a lot of people who need your help. And think about, if you needed help, you'd want people to listen at the very least.
Absolutely.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's it.
Awesome. Well, I love you guys, and we thank you for your listenership. And thank you for coming, Will. You're a great friend. We love you. Mike, you're a good boy. Let's all continue to be good boys and girls and help people in need. So thank you guys for listening to the show. Follow William Haynes on all the things. Support Black artists. And Black Lives Matter, everybody. We love you. See you next time.